I'm on a 10-game win streak in Master Duel with Elfnote, and here is how I did it. Hey everyone, this is Gnogat, and today I wanted to bring you some gameplay from my Master Climb in Master Duel. You see I'm currently at Master 3. I have won 4 games in a row to enter it, and then since then I won every game and got to Master 3 without dropping one. That is 10 wins in a row, 14 in total, and out of these 10 games I only won 2 coin flips, so even though I went going second, I still won games, and I wanted to show you some replays today. We're going to be having 4 replays. One of them is going first, just to show you a line that I already posted on Twitter that I really like. And then the others are going second. So the first one is going to be going first here into Kashtira with Elfnote, pure Elfnote with back-to-back. So I don't run Fiendsmith here. Fiendsmith is pretty good because of Theorealize, but I actually don't like running the brick, basically. So we are having a start with Droll, Regina, Theorealize, 2 Imperms. Obviously you're going to start with Theorealize. You're going to send a card to the grave, look at the top deck, put it on the top. I think it was an Ash Blossom, I didn't care about that if my combo goes through. Here, I go Medius, shuffle back, and you would think, okay, I'm going to keep the Droll because it's broken, because I go first. But if I shuffle the Regina back, and they Imperm, Ash, or Veiler my Medius, then I have to pass on nothing. Whereas if they Imperm, Veiler my Medius otherwise, I can Tribute Summon the Regina over it and still combo. So I'm going to keep the Regina, activate the Medius, they don't hand trap, and I make the Axel Synchron. The Elfin Power Patron will trigger, grabbing me Lucina, then I go Axel Synchron to send. Small note, the add here, adding Lucina plays into Droll, makes for a better line though, because you have to discard 1 card less. But if you want to play around Droll, you can grab Tinia, and then even if they Droll you, you send, you make Baron, you have the spell, you can summon from deck, etc. But here, we already have the Regina, so even if they Drolled us, we make Baron and we have the Regina. So we go Lucina, grab a Tinia, and then we're gonna make our Baron for Insolation. And we summon the Tinia. Tinia sets up the Welcome Home. We send the Tinia with Regina. Usually you would Welcome Home, send the Tinia, summon Regina, but in this version I only have 1 Regina in the deck, so I just summon it over. Special Fortuna to get the trap, send the Fortuna, bring back the Power Patron, and now we're making Strelitzia. We're just synchro climbing here, so grab back the Regina, then we summon back the Tuner, we make Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, to summon back the Tuner, the Jet Synchron. Here, if you play any junk card in your deck, the Jet Synchron can go and grab it. I do not play one right now because Junk Maestro is a decent card, but I didn't want to play it. So I'm just gonna go do that, make Croc. Croc draws me a card. It is a ghost spell. Jet Synchron here can summon itself by discarding. I had the choice, do I ditch the Bell or the Imperm? I decided to ditch the Imperm because I want more coverage. So here we make back-to-back, and this is the board. So Baron and the Trap, so we have 2 Omnis, and we have back-to-back with... Right now we don't have anything to synchro, but we can get bodies off of Rhapsodia, we can get bodies off of Regina, and just play on your opponent's turn that way. And if I discarded the Bell, in this case, I could also just grab back the Bell with back-to-back. But this is what we end on here. And this is a small setup, but it's actually really strong. It's also not really super polyable, because this is a Dark Fiend, and this is a Wind Warrior. So very, very solid board. Opponent draws their card. And they special Fenrir. Activate Theosis, targeting Fenrir. I go Baron here to negate, because I want to keep this for something like the Fenrir itself, for example, because I don't want to remove the Fenrir body. It is Kashtira. If I remove the body, they can just summon another one like Unicorn, whereas if the Fenrir sticks and I negate the effect, then that is kind of useless. So Baron to do this, negate it. This is gone. And then they go Fenrir effect, target back to back. I chain back to back because that's why I wanted to force the Fenrir. That's why I activated Baron. I could have also impermed here, but yeah. So we go send the Baron the Fleur after activating back to back to negate the Fenrir. I just wanted to keep Regina and the Ghost Bell. So we summon back the Strelitzia, because the tuner I want to summon back here is the Elfnote Paw Patron and immediately synchro summon into an Omega. I could have made Crystal Wing here, but since they already had the Fenrir summoned, I figured it's better to rip a card out of the hand. The Paw Patron triggers, and I use the Omega as well to get rid out of the card in their hand, and it is a Macrocosmos. So Paw Patron grabs a Lucina for follow-up. Then, to play around the next monster effect that they can use, I want to have another body on board, so I go Regina. And I also want to Regina into Tinia to rip a card out of their hand, so that they have fewer options. So we go Regina, they Ash. This is the card that I gave them off the top, of that they realize. It's fine. I can just chain the back-to-back here to bring back my Jet Synchron from Banishment, summon it, and make a Dawn Dragster. It's negated. The Regina in the grave comes back to hand, and that is it. They could have Fenrir run over the Dragster, so I lose my monster negate. That would keep them off their battle phase though, and then I have a lot of follow-up. So they go Scarecrow Kashtira in their hand, and I just spell that because they have one card left in hand. I have a monster negate, I have a spell trap negate, so even if there was a good spell, which after Theosis, is that activation once per turn? No, use. So they can't really Theosis here either, so there's not really much I'm scared about. So I'm gonna hand trap the Scarecrow Kashtira, and then they'll just scoop the game. For our next game is gonna be a really funny game against Dracotail, where we got Charmied to death. So Charmies have been a weakness for Elfnote. And this is not the optimal Charmy line. You can see my hand is terrible. I was playing, I think I was playing the Kashtira version, so I was on 3 Elfnote Paw Patron. So that if you draw any Kashtira, Fenrir, or Unicorn, you can still make a play. But here they start Purulia, and Purulia is really good against this hand. So here you have the choice: do I just pass with the Fuvalos, or do I make a play? I decided I want to make a play because just Fuvalos with this hand even isn't a good hand to push back, because I would have to summon the Fenrir and then normal summon the Paw Patron to do anything, and that is so weak to removal. So I figured I'm gonna have to give them 2 draws for an Axel Synchro line. I go Fenrir, grab the Unicorn for follow-up, normal summon the Paw Patron, give them another one. Axel Synchro Stardust, go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. I figured I'm just gonna grab a Regina here. And I'm just gonna pass on this. So we have the Axel Synchro Stardust with the Paw Patron, which should be in the middle zone, I think. And then the Regina. I guess we can have it in this zone because the Regina can send from hand, and then we just make a 7. But yeah, this is a minimal board, so not too happy about it. This was a terrible hand though. So they drew their card, and they are on 7 cards in hand right now, so that is a lot. And what they do here is they just shotgun the Fuvalos, I chain my Axel Synchro Stardust, and they drop another Fuvalos. So the issue here is the Axel Synchro has to summon the Stardust Dragon and then Synchro. So we are giving them 2 more draws. So they get a draw. We make the Croco. And then the Elfnote Paw Patron triggers and the Croc triggers. I chain block here, like this, because this Croc is unaffected. Now my opponent does not know that, and they just Ash my Croc. So this is just a wasted Ash here. I obviously can't Regina anymore, because that is 2 more draws, and that is just not worth it for the little interruption that Regina represents. Plus, this is better for the pushback. They have a lot of cards I need to push a lot after this. So the Croc draws a card, and I'm going to add a card. So what I have here is a 5400 monster that is unaffected by card effects. So this is very hard to actually out for my opponent. So what they can just do is basically play as if it was their first turn, make a board, and I try to break it after. So with a little bonus that the Croc can also pop a card. So what they do here is they go Cartesia, they fuse into Artholion. Artholion grab back the Ash, and then set their cards with the Dracotail effects. So Pan sets a card. They try to pop the Croc for fun. They set another Kewltune. And the Artholion adds back 2 cards. So here on res, since I know it is Dracotail, all they could do, like they cannot, even if I use the Croc effect, he goes down to 3,500, which is still bigger than most of the things they can do except for Titaniclad, which if they go Titaniclad to out this, be my guest. So what I do here is I'm going to use my Croc and I'm going to discard Fuva and another Power Patron to get rid of the Rahu, which is limited to 1 here. So if I get rid of the Rahu, they cannot fuse that much anymore. So they try to droplet it, which, whatever. This is still unaffected, but they just haven't read the Exile Synchro. So they're gonna go for a link into Verte, and here they're gonna Kewltune, grab 5 mana, and they're gonna try to Branded Fusion with the Verte, and then they scoop. So before they scoop here, let me just pause. I would have another draw here. I have Kashtira Unicorn, which I can't summon as of right now, but I have the Croc, and I have 3 Elfnote starters plus a tuner plus Regina. What would happen here is they would set up Dracotail traps. I can pop one of them during my turn with the Croc. So that is that. If I summon the Elfnote Power Patron, I immediately threaten a Baron de Fleur. So if I pop Dracotail Horn and summon this, they have to 5 mana here already to do something about this board. If they leave the Croc on board, then I can still Regina, summon another Elfnote Power Patron from deck, threaten Baron again. If they get rid of the Croc, I have free field for Kashtira Unicorn, and Kashtira Unicorn grabs Birth, grabs back Fenrir, and that is again a lot of pressure. So even though they wasted their droplet, we had a really, really strong push after that. So don't focus too much on the misplays that they made. We had an unaffected Croc that protected us, plus a strong push into their next turn. But my opponent just scoops it up here. So the next 2 replays are going to be against Kewltune, obviously, because I want to show off this deck against meta. So here we have the first replay. We again, this time we go first actually. This was one of my few coin flips. So we have Theorealize and a bunch of non-engine. I try to go for the back-to-back line again. So I'm going to go Medius. I see a Rotary on top of their deck. I don't know if it shows in the log. It does not. So it was a Rotary, so now I know it is Kewltune, so I can expect hand traps here. I activate the Medius, and I feel a delay, and it is Maxi. So I was thinking maybe it was Ghost Spell, but it was Maxi. So here I go Ash Blossom on the Maxi. Reason number 1 is it is Kewltune, I know that. So I know there is more than one hand trap, I need my call by for it. Second is I want to do a back-to-back line, so if I go through with it, I can just grab back the Ash with the back-to-back. That is just a free hand trap. So we Ash the Maxi. And now the only thing I'm scared of is an Imperm, because every other hand trap I have called by the Grave for. I go Medius, and they have the Imperm. So what would you do in this scenario? You're up against Kewltune, you are out of place. Would you just set 2 and pass? So what I did here is I said, okay, this is a terrible spot for me. If I just pass here, I will lose, like most of the time. I'm just going to use the Theorealize to try and get a reaction. I am not on Fiendsmith, but they don't know that. So I go Theorealize, target my Medius, and call Light Fiend. This prompts them to go Clip, their, I think, last interaction in hand. So they go Clip. And they synchro. Okay, they have a Ghost Spell, so I don't know even... They could have kept the Ghost Spell for the Fiendsmith Engraver. But here they just go for the Crackle, because they were afraid. And then they go Crackle 1, Clip 2. I don't call by the Clip here, I don't care. If they hit a random card, whatever, most of the cards here are not that mandatory. If they hit the Strelitzia, I'm a bit sad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, they banish a random card. It is my Typhon, which is good in this matchup. And then they crackle, they see my extra deck, and here there was a long pause because they see the extra deck and they actually see there was no Fiendsmith in there. So that was really funny. Yeah, so they just grab this Strelitzia, which I get back in the end phase. I set 2, have the Called By, have the Imperm, see where I can get from there. They are on low cards, so normal summon Rico. I Imperm, because I want to keep them off place. This is my only shot here. That they have to pass on this. Luckily, my Meteos is big enough for both of those. But they have an Ash Blossom in hand, which they go into Loudness War with. And then Rico pop the back row, which they didn't know was just a Called By. I obviously don't Called By here, because if I Called By the Rico, then they would just Loudness War, clip, banish another card from my extra deck, and my Called By would have gone anyway. I just would have gotten the Rico out of the grave, which, no. So, I'm gonna top deck here, hoping it's a starter. But it is a Droll. So I'm just gonna pass back and hope they don't have a starter. They kind of butched their board here, so they don't have a starter. I draw my card, we try again, and it is Lucina. So we are very happy about that. Summon the Lucina, and that is where my opponent gives up. Now for the last replay, it is again against Kewltune. And this time we go second. So, Carlos selected going first. We have Maxi, Fuva. I drop Fuva in draw phase here because it's Kewltune meta. So if they get a body on board and I Fuva then, they can just chain. Like, say they go, I don't know, Rico. I have to Fuva then. They chain Kewltune Synchro, grab Rotary, make Kewltune Trackmaker, and they just have their full setup. I got 0 draws. So I just shotgun it. And they reveal that they are in fact on Kewltune. So what I do here is I figured they are already on the Fuvalos, so that prompts them to not do as much. I'm going to keep Maxi for my turn, so they also can't play in my turn. So they go Mix, Rotary for a Q. Normal summon the Q, don't use the effect, because they want to play into Fuva. They give me 1 draw here. It's a Meteos. They look in the hand. They do the chain links wrong here, but they still look in the hand before they order the top deck. So they see my hand, grab a Kewltune Synchro. Then they look at the top deck. It's Fuva and Imperm. They get rid of the Imperm, and they keep the Fuva on top, which I found very interesting, because then I can just drop it on their turn. They do another Synchro here, give me another draw, which means they do not have full information. So whatever I draw here, they don't know. They go Remix, Maker, and Synchro pass. I have this hand. So I don't even have to use my Maxi here because they gave me the Fuva. I'm just going to drop Fuva in draw phase on my turn. I'm going to use Maxi for the turn after if I don't OTK here. So drop a turn. I go activate Fuva. And they have the Maxi. So this actually makes it a bit harder for me. Playing into a board with Maxi is always tough. I drop the Fuva. I go Special Fenrir. Best card in the deck. Activate the effect. For whatever reason they Ogre here. I think they just wanted to cycle because they want to find other hand traps. So they pop the Fenrir. I get another one. I have to summon that, and that gives them another draw into Maxi. Here, worth noting, adding the Maxi gave me a delay, so I was pretty sure they had a Droll in hand, which they didn't activate because they had Maxi active. So they didn't want to Droll here, because if they Drolled here, they would have had 1 card in hand, couldn't activate the spell. I can just force through this board and they will be left on nothing. So, but it's good to know for the future that they have a Droll in hand. So Fenrir, then we summon Fortuna. I just wanted to make a small board. I think there was a little mistake here doing it like this, because I leave all my pieces on board, the Rhapsodia is not live, and what they can do comfortably here is go Remix, Ibel, but they can still Kewltune Synchro to grab a Rico, and then go into a Zalen. I draw a card, it's another Fuva, this is negated. And then what they're gonna do is they go Trackmaker and Rico. Rico is gonna get rid of my trap to extend, and Rico's gonna get rid of the trap, and Trackmaker is gonna get rid of my tuner. So now I don't have synchro plays. So what I do here is Fenrir, banish, and I have to do some damage and pass on nothing, which is not optimal. So one thing to note is they have been taking a lot of time for their turns. So I was quite certain that they were low on a timer. So here, they go Imperm on my Fenrir. I decide to drop my Maxi. I didn't insta-drop my Maxi here because if they had a Kewltune Synchro, they would have set it the last turn. And they could have drawn it off of Maxi, but I just wanted to wait with the Maxi here. But it didn't matter because they had Ash for the Maxi. So I am basically out of interruptions now until they clear my board for the Fuva. So let's see if under a timer they can actually beat my board and OTK. So they also have the... This was the moment where I thought, okay, this game is over. They have too many resources. So they go Rotary. Fast forward this a bit. Summon Q. Q special Trackmaker. Trackmaker add another Kewltune Synchro. Kewltune Synchro to add JJ. Okay, that didn't make sense. They get in Synchro Summon off. Mix pops the Fortuna. This bounces the Fenrir. I would have done it the other way around because the trap is already out of rotation. There's no reason to... Like, giving me the Fortuna doesn't do anything, whereas Fenrir does. Here, I Fuva them, which makes it even harder for them to play because they are on the timer and now they're on the Fuva. So how many draws do you want to give them? Do you go for an OTK? They decide to just grab a mix. Extra normal the mix. Make a remix. So they can play on my turn. And they end their turn, even though they could have done damage because, again, the timer was low. So, I'm going to draw an Ash. Special Fenrir, best card in the deck. I activate it, and they go and pop it. They pop it because they don't want it to be on the field. And they want to draw me. So, thing is, I just get another Fenrir here. So I can just summon that Fenrir, even if they draw me. So, they just don't like Fenrir, I guess. So here, they draw, and that's fine though. So I special Fenrir, special Lucina. That prompts them to go for the remix to get rid of my Lucina. RS. Fenrir target field spell and then mix target Lucina. What they don't know is that I don't care about this Lucina. I want to put them on no field spell, so their top decks are worse. And I know that a Typhon already clears this board. So I just want to get rid of the field spell here, so this drops to 0, Typhon clears. And even if I can't do any play, if I have Typhon plus Ash and they have no cards, that is very good for me. So here I banish, summon Meteors, they go RS to negate. And I probably should have just kept this Meteors here, but that's fine. What I can do here is just go Typhon. Use the effect to bounce the RS, and they were on 3,200 life, so or something like this was lethal on board. So yeah, that is a matchup against Kewltune. So here's the deck list as it is right now. We are on a lot of hand traps. We played Jet Synchron. For the back-to-back line, we have a Hyper Librarian, because if you know you're against Kewltune, sometimes you can just make a Hyper Librarian and it's basically max C on the field. 2 Meteors, 3 Theorealize is my preferred ratio. We have 3 Fenrir, which is such a good card, and the extra deck we have the Typhon, which I like in this hand trap-centric approach. We have a Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon as our level 12 of choice. We could also play Centurion de Gacha if you want. Croc and Axel are for that line. You don't necessarily need the Stardust Dragon, but I like it for the Fuvalos line. And right now I'm on 1 Regina because I currently own 1. But I also don't want to play too many of that because it's not really a hand trap. So another consideration I had was like playing more Welcome Home. But this list so far I like just as a pure version. I played a Kashtira version before, but the Unicorn was nice going first, but if you saw my coin flip ratio, I went like 2 coin flips out of 10, so the Unicorn wouldn't have been that great, where a more hand trap centric approach was probably better. But that is it for the video. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.